I'm gonna start letting folks in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for joining us. I'm so happy to see all of your smiling faces. We have a wonderful program planned for you today, and I am just happy to be a part of it. So let's get right into it. Greetings, everybody. My name is Aysia Brown. I know you see me talking on a lot of screens and in 102 meetings as we've all been through this crazy year. But I'm the Director of Judicial Affairs at MSJC. And on behalf of Sankofa, Ujima, Umoja, and Amend, I want to thank you for being here today at Café Renaissance. Welcome to our Black History Month celebration. We are here today to honor the giants that have walked before us, that walk beside us, and that will walk long after we have left this earth and in our future. I want to thank everybody who's here today. And I want to acknowledge that Black History Month is officially recognized every February of every year, but Black history is made 365 days a year. And Black history is made in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our workplaces, and most importantly to MSJC, is made right here on our campus. We've been having a lot of conversations this year about how to change the world and what we should do and what we can do as students and what we can do as educators. And in times of trouble, I try to look back to our ancestors and the giants who have come before us. And I think that Chairman Fred Hampton of the Black Panther Party said it best when he said, "Power anywhere there's people. Power anywhere where there's people." Let me give you an example of teaching people. Basically, the way they learn is observation and participation. A lot of us go around and joke ourselves and believe that the masses have PhDs, but that's not true. And even if they did, it wouldn't make any difference, because with some things, you have to learn by seeing it or participating in it. And you know yourselves that there are people walking around your community today that have all types of degrees that should be at this meeting, but are not here, right? Because you can have as many degrees as a thermometer. If you don't have any practice, then you can't walk across the street and chew gum at the same time. Power anywhere there's people. Power anywhere where there's people. And as we think about what we can do in this world and how we can be a part of change, remember, you learn by participating, not by being perfect. And so as we celebrate Black History Month, as we move forward in our destinies as those who are going to change the world and continue to create history, I just want to celebrate. So I thank you all for being here. We have some amazing things on our schedule for you today. And before we do any of that, I want to thank everybody who's joined us. And I'm actually going to turn it over. Our beloved Superintendent President, Dr. Roger Schultz, couldn't be here with us today. He had a previous engagement, but he so wishes he was here. And we have a message from him that we would like to share.
As the Superintendent President of Mount San Jacinto College, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you to the culminating event of our Black History Month celebration, the Renaissance Café. I hope that you were able to participate in at least one of the many truly phenomenal events that our dedicated staff and faculty hosted this month to raise awareness of the rich history and achievements of our country's Black and African Americans. The Mount San Jacinto College Black History Month celebration was made possible through the tireless works of our various affinity student groups. These groups are Umoja and Amen, as well as our advisory teams, which consists of Ujima, Sankofa, and C-Black. I extend to each of these groups my sincere gratitude and thanks for organizing such a robust offering of enriching activities. I particularly appreciate the enlightening and powerful discussions, allowing all of us to learn more about African American history, art, and culture. I have been re-energized by the work of James Baldwin, the conversations facilitated by Drs. Cornell West, Ibram Kendi, and Keisha Blaine, and continue to be inspired by the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and so many others. As February comes to a close, we, the Mount San Jacinto College instructors, counselors, administrators, and staff, see the beauty, resiliency, perseverance, and strength of our Black and African American students. As February comes to a close, we, the Mount San Jacinto College instructors, counselors, administrators, and staff, see the beauty, resiliency, perseverance, and strength of our Black and African American students. We are beyond proud of you for being brilliant, tenacious, and inquisitive members of our college family. We are so very glad you are here at Mount San Jacinto College, and we thank you for trusting us to be part of your educational journey. Although we know as an institution we still have work ahead of us to ensure that MSJC is truly equitable for our students and employees, it is through activities like Black History Month that we begin to open eyes and minds. It is through the efforts outlined in our call to action that we will be part of dismantling the systemic racism that permeates our society. We do that by starting right here at home, right here at MSJC. Join me now as we participate in the Renaissance Café to learn more about the rise of Harlem in the early 1900s. This period is considered to be a golden age of African American culture, art, and social movement. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Jeremy Brown, our Vice President of Instruction, who will share a bit about his love for jazz and the important musical influences from this era.
Dr. Schultz just stole my thunder, y'all. I was so excited to introduce Dr. Brown, our Vice President of Instruction, but needs no more introduction. He already got his intro from the president of our college. So I just want to add that when I found out that Dr. Brown was a musician himself, I was shocked. No, nothing against, our lovely instruction folks, but I just wasn't expecting it. So I think that just goes to show how much the arts can enrich your life, especially jazz music, which I know, Dr. Brown, you have an affinity for. I'll let you talk all about it. I'm going to zip it right now. But again, without further ado, Dr. Jeremy Brown, our VPI.
Thank you so much, Aysia. I am so excited to be here with you all today. And really, as I'm the Vice President of Instruction, but this gives me an opportunity to really get into my true passion, which is American music in general and jazz and blues in particular. Before I was in the position that I'm in today, I taught music at the college. I directed the jazz ensemble. I enjoyed teaching the history of jazz and blues. And so I really hope that by sharing some of that history, we can set the tone for a lot of the musical performances and celebrations that you'll hear today. I know a couple of you all here actually used to be students of mine in my class, so you might hear some things that you may remember from that time. But I am going to, the YouTube or the environment that we're in right now is can be tricky to share PowerPoints and video and audio, but I'm going to do my best here. So I have a presentation to kind of kick us off. I want to talk a little bit about what was happening in African American culture in the lead up to and as the Harlem Renaissance really got moving. Generally speaking, African American culture was finding itself and kind of developing and choosing a course. And all of that was happening in Harlem. The Great Migration from the South into urban areas brought African Americans into neighborhoods of Chicago, of New York, and as far west as LA, and created urban centers where there was really a flowering of African American culture. But also as these cultural icons came together, there was a dichotomy happening. There was a debate about what direction that culture would take. A number of African American writers and musicians and actors were debating what is going to be the culture of America, and how do we contribute to that? Do we copy the Western European ideals and kind of recreate Western European art and music, or do we make it into something that's our own? And so this was an active debate that was going on. I do want to share just a passage from the great poet playwright Langston Hughes, because I think he really captures this dichotomy of what was going on. It was his opinion that African Americans should focus on their own culture and create an African American culture. And luckily, that's what brought us things like jazz, and even moving in today's world into hip hop and a lot of the great pop music of today. So this is from Langston Hughes. Let the blare of Negro jazz bands and the bellowing voice of Bessie Smith singing blues penetrate the closed ears of the colored near intellectuals until they listen and perhaps understand. Let Paul Robeson singing Waterboy and Aaron Douglas drawing strange black fantasies cause the smug Negro middle class to turn from their white, respectable, ordinary books and papers and catch a glimmer of their own beauty. We younger Negro artists who create now intend to express in our individual black-skinned selves without fear and shame. If white people are pleased, we're glad. If they're not, it doesn't matter. We know we are beautiful and ugly too. The tom-tom cries and the tom-tom laughs. If colored people are pleased, we're glad. And if they are not, their displeasure doesn't matter either. We build our temples for tomorrow, strong as we know how, and we stand on top of the mountain free within ourselves. I love that idea of building our temples for tomorrow. They were creating something really original at that time that created the great black art that we have today. Something else that really represents that dichotomy is the virtual background sitting behind me. So a number of you, if you know about the kind of pop culture that was going on at that time, and you see a virtual background that shows the Cotton Club, that might raise an eyebrow. The Cotton Club was I would say an elite club, nightclub during that time that really brought in primarily white practitioners that would come in and essentially party. They were entertained by great black artists. In fact, this is where the great composer Duke Ellington created his a lot of great music. He was writing new music 6 nights a week with a great band. And so this is really the place where a lot of that great musical art was created. But on the other hand, it's called the Cotton Club. And what does that make you think of? It really was a throwback to slavery. The inside of this nightclub was actually decorated like the porch of a plantation. So absolutely insulting to the history of African American art. Musicians like Duke Ellington took this as an opportunity, and I would say, put it right back in the face of those masters back in the day and created amazing music. And we'll be hearing some of that music today. So I'm going to move ahead, and I don't want to take up too much time here, but essentially this is about the 2 cultural directions. And there were 2 Harlems that were happening at this time. The great art, but at the same time, African Americans who moved into Harlem were living in poverty. They were sharing rooms. They were renting out their beds to people just to take naps. They were, moving forward, they were throwing rent parties to make rent. And actually, in some of these rent parties, they would hire piano players who would play a new style of piano called stride piano. This is another place where a lot of the great art was being created. Stride piano bridged the gap between ragtime and a number of Southern and Midwestern piano styles and the new jazz styles. It was essentially a sped up version of ragtime and other styles. And it fused classical piano with that as well. I'm going to spend a little bit of time walking through just a couple of those great stride piano artists. And this leads to really the great Duke Ellington. So moving ahead, and here's what's awkward about this environment. I can't hear the audio on my end, so I'm gonna hope that you can on your end as I push play. This is the great Willie the Lion. So Willie the Lion Smith used to talk about cutting contests. Essentially, you know, if you're throwing a rent party, you hire a stride pianist to come in and entertain folks. And this became a really big deal. Other pianists in the area might hear about Willie the Lion Smith playing at somebody's rent party, and they might drop in. People like the great Art Tatum, who was an up-and-comer at that time, came in, and he decided to compete with Willie the Lion Smith. And so they would essentially compete, have a technical piano contest during these parties. And that's where a lot of this great technique was created. So I'm going to hit play on here. There he is, and I'm going to skip forward just a bit for the good stuff.
Reminiscing something about the piano greats. You heard out Giles. There it is. Now I should like to segue from this tune into something more brighter, entitled Finger Buster. Are you there, Lion? Ready, up the tempo.
So you'll notice that left hand jumping back and forth, up and down, up and down. That was really the stride. So it's a striding left hand. Some cheesy camera effects there. So that's just to give you a taste. And you can see it's an extremely athletic style of piano, very fast, moving side to side very quickly. And these folks, not only were they playing fast songs, they were doing it by memory. They were improvising melodic lines on top of old songs. So there were mental gymnastics happening at the same time as really athletic and technical facility being displayed. So one person that really emerges from the stride scene to become a pop star is Fats Waller. Fats Waller was an amazing songwriter. Many of the songs that came from this day, Jitterbug Waltz, Ain't Misbehavin', The Joint is Jumpin', Honeysuckle Rose. These are some of the songs that really became a part of our songbook. Yeah, and this isn't playing just yet, but let me know if you can't hear it. Fats was an amazing pianist. He actually was trained at Juilliard, which is one of the premier conservatories in piano, but he also borrowed a lot of elements from this stride style, became a songwriter, and became a very famous entertainer. I think you'll enjoy his style of entertainment here as well. So I'm going to hit play, and do let me know in the chat if you have trouble hearing. Oops.
No one to talk with all by myself. No one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving all my love for you. You fine rascal, you. I know for certain the one I love. I'm through with flirting, it's you that I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, saving all my love for you, just you. Like Jack Horner in a corner, don't go nowhere.
What do I hear? Your kisses, my dear, are worthwhile waiting for. Believe me, dear.
Don't stay out late, ain't got no place to go. I'm on my body, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving all my love.
All right. And if you listened carefully, whoops, sorry. If you listen carefully, you could hear some of that stride style in the background. But this guy could do more with his eyebrows to entertain a crowd than most folks could do with their entire persona. So very influential, very important musician, and he also influenced really the entertainment style that was coming out at that time. So if you watch other performers, you'll see exaggerated facial expression, exaggerated body movements. So he really set the tone for that age. All right, so moving forward and really artistically, there's no one more important, possibly in all of American history, in terms of creating an American art form than Duke Ellington. So Duke Ellington, as I mentioned, he really made his name at the Cotton Club. This was one of his most important professional engagements for a long time period. He grew up in Washington, D.C., really studying ragtime and stride piano styles. He spent some time with folks like Willie the Lion Smith, learning the best of the stride style. But he was even more of a composer, I think more of an important voice as a composer of the jazz style. His bands were influenced by the music of musical theater at that time, as well as the blues. So with Duke Ellington, you have kind of a coming together of the truly African-American styles of the blues that had come in from the South up to New York, stride piano, which was a fusion of those Southern styles and Midwestern styles, as well as the metropolitan piano style. You have this just coming together of culture, and then he created a band sound. So he moved it from the piano into the jazz band, instrumental jazz band setting. One of the important characteristics of his band was that he didn't just write notes on the page and expect his folks to play them as they looked. He had very original sounding musicians. The trumpet player that you see here had a sound like no other. And so he would really make the most of that sound and really lean on them. So he wasn't just writing a trumpet part. He was writing a part for James Bubber Miley, one of his great cornet and trumpet players. So I'll play just a bit of this one, Black and Tan Fantasy. This is actually from a film. He was featured in film, and it'll give you an idea of kind of what this looked like and a bit of the musical complexity that was going on as well. I have to skip forward a bit. Whoops. This worked earlier, but YouTube may not like me right now. Let me see if this will work, if I can pull this up.
If you're trying to lose belly fats.
Isn't this how it goes?
I am actually, so that's timely. Thank you, Dr. Brown, for that link.
What's that, Aysia?
I said I actually am, so thank you for that link. That's timely. I'll
Oh, gotcha.
There are a few of us that need to get rid of that pandemic 15, dear. So yeah.
Let me try this one time. There we go. Can you all see the video playing? Okay. So skipping ahead to really focus on the music here. And can you hear that on your end? So you'll see the trumpet player reaching his hand to the end of his trumpet using a mute and kind of wah, wah, wah on the mute. That was really his very special style. All right. So I'm gonna stop it there because I know we have a lot more show to go. I know this is great music that was playing. I hope it just kind of whetted your appetite. You're gonna hear some music today that sounds a great deal like this, but hopefully this kind of gives you an idea historically what was going on in society during the Harlem Renaissance. Thanks so much for allowing me to kind of give my thoughts on the era.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brown. Always a pleasure. And that education piece is so important because music is its own language, and there's so many intricacies and nuances that we don't know until we know. And so just getting a kind of peek into all of the work, all of the revolutionary thought and ideas and just rule breaking, quite frankly, that went into making this fantastic form of music that our country is now known for. Super important. So thank you for that. We're going to keep this thing going. There's so much that we want you to learn today. There's so much that we want you to know. I have the distinct pleasure of volunteering a lot of my colleagues here that they would help us out with this event. And so the first person that's going to do so, he's going to introduce you to some really cool Black history. And this person, I just want to give him a round of applause and a thank you so much, because he is one of the heartbeats of our campus. He keeps this place going. And without him and his leadership, we literally would not be able to function. So I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Daryl Wilkes, who's going to share some Black history with us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys for allowing me to share some Black history. My name is Daryl Wilkes. I'm the Director of Maintenance and Operation for the San Jacinto and the San Antonio campus. I will be sharing a Black fact history reading on one young lady, Miss Claudette Colvin. She was a pioneer of the 1950 Civil Rights Movement. So here is some a Black reading fact on Miss Claudette. I could not move because history had me glued to the seat. It felt like Soninger's Truth's hands were pushing me down on one shoulder and Harriet Tubman's hand were pushing me down on another shoulder, and I could not move. Claudette Colvin on Democracy Now! At age 15, on March 2nd, 1955 in Montgomery, Alabama, Ms. Claudette Colvin refused to give up her seat to a white woman. Ms. Colvin was motivated by what she had been learning in school about African-American history and the U.S. Constitution. Note that this action took place just days after Black History Month. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's just so important. Claudette Colvin is a name that we don't often hear, but is an integral piece of the Black history journey and the civil rights movement and the bus boycotts. And I just want to encourage you to take a moment and research her role in everything that happened, along with Rosa Parks and so many others who sat so we all could sit. Thank you, Mr. Wilkes. That was amazing. The next person that I'm going to introduce is someone that I am thrilled for you all to get acquainted with. She is going to be singing an iconic song in the history of Black Americans in this country, Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday. This song is one that was not met with open arms by the country, by the government, but this is a song that is reflective of the Black experience in this country. Music has been completely tied to our culture from the time that African peoples reached these shores as slaves, and the music that they brought with them in their hearts, in their souls, in practice, and the way that music evolved as we saw through jazz music, as we see through hip hop today, as we're going to hear in a little bit when we listen to Strange Fruit. It's key to who we are as a people. And I won't oversell it because Strange Fruit speaks for itself, but I want to introduce the wonderful Kim Allen, who is going to share her vocal talents with us today.
Thank you for allowing me to share with you today and the invitation. I appreciate it. I'm going to sing Strange Fruit. Southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scenes of the gallant South, with bulging eyes and twisted mouths, scent of magnolia sweet and fresh. Then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is the fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to wither, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the trees to drop. Here is a strange and bitter crowd.
Thank you so much, Kim. That was beautiful. I just want to share a little bit of the history behind that song. So Billie Holiday first sang it in March of 1939 at a jazz club in New York City. It was her final song of the night, and she requested that a spotlight be put on her face, the rest of the room be dark, no waiters moving through the crowd as it normally would be. And once she sang the final notes of that song, the lights turned off. When they came back up, she was gone and there was no encore. Those words, southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Those lyrics were originally a poem, and it was actually a Jewish teacher and civil rights activist from the Bronx who wrote them. He was inspired by a photo of two men who had been lynched in Indiana hanging from poplar trees. And he said the vision haunted him for days. It stayed with him and inspired this piece. For Billie Holiday, though, the song reminded her of her father, who had a fatal lung disorder, and he died from it, but he could have been saved if he hadn't been turned away from the hospital for being a Black man. So when we talk about strange fruit, it means different things from different people. Yes, it speaks to lynching. Yes, it speaks to disproportionate impacts. But there are so many ways for marginalized folks to be lost in this country. As we've seen with the COVID-19 epidemic, Black and brown folks have been disproportionately impacted, and have died at rates that they would not have died if the hospitals in their community were well funded and supported. But it became a protest anthem. The song that she hated to sing became a fire under people all over the country, and it inspired, again, a movement to once again and continuously pick up steam and grow. And as we learn these things, some of it is dark and some of it is sad, but consider your own talents and consider how those things that you know you're good at, but maybe you don't like to do, how they can contribute to the betterment of the people around you. So I just want to thank you, Kim, for that beautiful rendition. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your talents with us. And now I am going to move it on to the next Black fact. Kevin Baker, I'll let him introduce himself because he's fantastic, but we're going to share a little bit of history here. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about your role on campus and about the Amend program for our students who are watching?
Of course I can. Again, my name is Kevin Baker. I serve as director for our Educational Talent Search Program, which is the college prep program working with students in the San Jacinto Unified School District to get them ready to apply for post-secondary education. And I also serve as the advisor for our Men Club, which is, it's a club that was started 4 years ago on the campus, really to create a space for our African-American men and men of color to have that bond, that space where they can come in and just be the men that they can be. Also, I really focus on leadership development. So as they come in, we work on those aspects of leadership. We're bringing in leaders from the community to speak and share with them. And so those are some of the things we do. Of course, we focus on academics also, but really on that leadership development. And I think that will lead into them being successful both academically and professionally. And with that, bring up that Black fact. I don't see anything.
While we're waiting on that, I just want to give a shout out to Eric Walker in the background. He is one of our stars behind the tech that you're seeing here today, and he is holding it down for us on the back end. We asked a lot of him in a short period of time, and he came and he got us together. So give us grace.
I still don't see anything on my end.
So I'm not sure what happened, Kevin. I'm gonna table you for a second. We're gonna press the pause button. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and move on to our next performer. We'll come back to that Black fact right afterwards. Oh, nope, we got it. There you go. Here we go. Go ahead, Kevin. Take it away.
All right. Black National Anthem. As we celebrate Black History Month, we have to pay homage to our Black National Anthem. Lift Every Voice and Sing, written as a poem by NAACP leader James Weldon Johnson and set to music by his brother John Rosamond Johnson in 1899. This iconic song has uplifted our people for generations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We decided not to have anyone sing the Black National Anthem today, as not to take away from the moment that Strange Fruit is and the relevance that it has to this celebration of history. But I just want everybody for a moment to just kind of meditate on the first words of that song, that lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Let us march on until victory is won. We're marching, people. We're marching. And I think that as a people, Black Americans in this country have been through so much and have such a ways to go, but it's been a beautiful journey. And everything that we go through and everything that we live through just add to that beautiful history that we pass on from generation to generation. I've been a blessed recipient of, and I know so many others have. And without further ado, I want to introduce someone very, very special who's going to share a little bit of that journey with us. Joanne Hoy loves the arts. She is a playwright, director, and producer in Riverside County. Her newest production, At the Kitchen Table Live, can be experienced on Saturday, March 27th at 7:30 p.m. on the Queens of NIA, that's Queens of NIA, NIA Facebook page, and everyone is invited. So we hope that you'll check her out. She is one of the most humble people I have ever met, okay? She does not like to give herself the that I know that she deserves. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Joanne Hoy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Twisted my arm behind my back. Hi, I'm Joanne Hoy, and last year was just meaningful in so many different ways and levels. And I started pandemic poetry. Little did I know, as we all experienced George Floyd, that we would have just so much. So one of my days I wrote this. I just can't make this up. Racism is real, people. Hatred based upon skin color is real, people. America, please wake up. The racism nightmare has become the air we breathe. America, please wake up. Hatred resides in the bloodlines of those who see the color of skin as a threat to their pursuit of happiness. America, wake up. The land of what was free is now a land of militia hunting ground to add to those who were slain as strange fruit, or waiting to see what happens after 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Please, America, wake up. See generations of people flooding the streets for truths who you once proudly proclaimed. America, wake up. Your sisters' liberty and justice for all are depending on you to restore your dignity of being the land of the free. America, come on, girl. Wake up.
Thank you. America, come on, girl. We tired, okay? I love that. Thank you so much, Joanne. I just want to share that everyone that you have seen on this stage so far is part of the MSJC family. These are talents that we have right here at home, and I just want to affirm and uplift that. One thing that I failed to mention at the beginning of this program is that we are going to be hosting an auction of several baskets today for the benefit of our Black students. We have a scholarship fund through the foundation office, which they'll talk more about later, so I don't want to botch it. But if we could, Eric, can you just show the people some of those pictures of what is up for auction? All right. I think there's one before this, but one of the items that we have is our aromology basket. We have a All That Jazz basket that has a bottle of a red wine blend. I don't know how your pandemicing has been going, but sometimes that's necessary. The autobiography of Miles Davis is in there. You can go to the next one. Again, there's that basket with some all natural lavender vanilla bath body hair massage oil, some body butters. You know, treat yourself, you should. Paint and sip wine basket. Again, I know that we're all kind of running out of things to do in the pandemic, but a paint and sip never fails. All of these are very beautiful, and there's a QRL, or there's a code on the side of the screen that you can hover over with your phone if you're watching from YouTube, or you can take that link, which someone will put in the chat, if you want to start your bidding. We also have Jackie Robinson basket, baseball player who broke the color barrier and changed the game, changed professional sports forever. The link to auction bidding is in the chat, and someone will put it in the YouTube chat as well if you're joining us from there. I think that's the last basket. Perfect. All right. So without further ado, we're going to move on to our next Black fact. While we're waiting for that to come up, just give us some thought. If you saw something in one of those baskets that you would like to explore further, maybe put a bid in, maybe spend some money to support students. I don't know, click on the link and someone will be in touch with you. We want to get that going. The code is in the chat as well, and these links will be put up on YouTube. So thank you for being part of that. And our next reader, another individual from our MSJC family who needs no introduction, please come on down, Mr. Von Lawson.
Good morning, good morning. This is hard for me because Cicely Tyson is one of my favorites in my heart, so to lose her this year has been difficult. Miss Cicely Tyson was an American actress and fashion model. In a career spanning more than 7 decades, she became known for her portrayal of strong African-American women. Tyson received 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 4 Black Reel Awards, 1 Screen Actors Guild Award, 1 Tony Award, an Honorary Academy Award, and a Peabody Award. Having appeared in minor film and television roles early in her career, Ms. Tyson garnered widespread attention and critical acclaim for her many performances. She was nominated for both the Academy Award for Best Actress and Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, drama for her work in the film. In November 2016, Tyson received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest civilian honor in the United States. In 2020, she was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame. Rest in peace, Miss Cicely Tyson. Thank you for your blessing and your gift.
Thank you so much, Vaughn. And I just want to echo that sentiment. Rest in peace to the late Cicely Tyson, who we lost just recently as she made her transition from elder to ancestor. We just want to thank her for the gifts that she has shared with us throughout her time on this earth. For our next presentation, I would like to introduce the incomparable Rowena Strong, who is going to share a creative piece with us that is about an important time in history. I want to thank her for this performance and honor her efforts. Without further ado, no music needed, no intro needed. Rowena Strong.
The night before, I was so excited. I guess I must have been about the first one up. While I was pressing my dress, I made this to wear on the first day of school. My little brother got up and turned on the TV. The man on the TV said that there was a large crowd that gathered at the school. And he was wondering if any of us was going to be there that day. Mama called from the kitchen where she was cooking breakfast, "Turn off that TV!" She was so upset and worried. I wanted to comfort her. So I said, Mama, don't worry. Don't worry, Mama. Daddy, he was in the other room. Now, he was pacing back and forth from room to room. He had a cigar in his hand and a pipe in his mouth, and though neither one was lit, it would have been funny, except he was so nervous. Before we left to go to school, Mother called us all into the living room and said that we must have a word of prayer. Then I caught the bus. I got off the bus about a block above the school. I could see where a large crowd had gathered in front of the Central Garden Station. As I started walking, all I could hear was just the shuffling of feet behind me. Then all of a sudden, someone from behind said, "Here she comes! Get ready!" I wasn't scared. I was just a little bit nervous. And then all of a sudden, my knees started to shake, and I was wondering if I could make it to that center entrance a block away. But I kept saying to myself, the cards will protect me. They'll protect me. When I finally got up to the school, I just stood back looking at it. It was such a big, beautiful school. That's then. Some of the guard let some of the white students go through. As soon as I could steady my knees, I too went to the guard that let the white student go through. And he just stood there, staring. I tried to squeeze by him, but he raised his bayonet at me. And the other guards moved in and they raised their bayonets at me. And then the crowd started gathering around me. Someone yelled, "Let's get her out of here. We don't want you in our school. Yeah, get out of here. Go back to Africa where you belong." I got so scared. I didn't know what to do. I was trying to find a friendly face, someone in the crowd, someone who could help me. Just then, I looked into the face of this old white woman. Her face seemed to be such a kind and gentle face. But when I looked at her again, she spat on me. The mob started gathering around me. Someone said, "Let's take her over here and let her at the street. We don't want you here. Get out of here." They started throwing rocks at me. They started calling me all kinds of names. I didn't know what to do, where to go. Just then, I saw a bench at the end. And I kept saying to myself, if I could just get to that bench, I'll be safe. I don't want that bench to be such a safe place. But I started walking towards it. And I tried to shut in my mind the names that they were calling me. And they were throwing rocks at me. When I finally got the bench, I sat down and I felt as if I couldn't move another step. The mob gathered around me again. They said, "Let's take her over here. We got a rope. We'll let you at this tree." A white man came and sat down beside me. He put his arms around me and said, "Don't let them see you cry." Oh, I don't know why he did that. Maybe I reminded him of his 15-year-old daughter. I don't know. The school bus came and I got home. Oh, I must have been in a state of shock for all the while. I never uttered a word. I remember getting off the bus at the school for the blind where my mother works. And I remember running up the stairs, and I kept running until I reached my mama's room. must have sensed that I was there. But when she turned, she had tears in her eyes. I wanted to go to her. And I wanted to tell Mom, Mama, I'm all right. I'm all right, Mama. But I couldn't even utter a word. My mother came to me. She put her arms around me. And I cried. I cried.
In its Brown v. Board of Education decision issued May 17, 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that segregation of America's public schools was unconstitutional. On September 2nd, 1957, Governor Orville Favis announced that he would call in the Arkansas National Guard to prevent the African-American students' entry to Central High, claiming this action was for the students' own protection. In a televised address, Favis insisted that violence and bloodshed might break out if Black students were allowed to enter the school. Elizabeth Eckford's family, however, did not have a telephone, and Bates could not reach her to let her know of the carpool plans. Therefore, Eckford arrived alone. The Arkansas National Guard, under the orders of the governor, prevented any of the Little Rock Nine from entering the doors of Central High. One of the most enduring images from this day is a photograph of Eckford, alone, with a notebook in her hand, stoically approaching the school as a crowd of hostile and screaming white students and adults surround her. I just want to take a moment, have a moment of silence and honor the Little Rock Nine for their sacrifice so that our students could be at MSJC today, so that we all could go to the schools that we went to. And I want everyone to just take a moment and remember that 1957 wasn't very long ago. Just a moment of silence. A moment of silence for the contributions of Rowena Strong to this program. Thank you. And thank you, Rowena. At this point, we're going to move on to the next fact in our program, read by a member of our MSJC family. Eric, can we bring up that fact? Dr. Sterling, please introduce yourself, talk about your role on campus, please speak about Ujima, and then we're going to roll into your fact. While I get this headpiece together, this thing's trying to betray me, y'all.
Well, happy Black History Month. Thank you for bringing me to the meeting, to the cookout. My name is Dr. A.K. Sterling. I teach African American Lit, English 103, and why it's creepy for my students to leave their cameras off during the Zoom meetings, right? But it looks like my fact is about Nat King Cole. So let me get to that. Oh, I'm also one of the tri-chairs for Ujima, which is one of our Black organizations on campus for like all of our professionals, and it's just a dope spot for us to to support each other and plan our moves. Anyways, Nat King Cole. So record sales from musician and singer Nat King Cole contributed so greatly to Capitol Records' success during the 1950s that its headquarters became known as the house that Nate built. And that's pretty impressive. I think you could say that about the whole country in our contribution.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling. At this point in the program, I'm going to turn it over to Jackie Morrison.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie Morrison. I'm the coordinator for campus and community engagement here at MSJC. And I have the honor and privilege of talking to you guys a little bit about the fantastic auction that we have for you today. So Aysia touched on the baskets that we have. So what's going to happen in just a few moments, we're going to open up a breakout room and you all will be invited to enter, but you can enter at your leisure. So you can enter now or later. And in that breakout room, you're going to be able to look at the baskets a little bit more in detail. You'll be able to place your bid, and you'll also be able to ask any questions that you might have around it. So today's auction proceeds will directly benefit the MSJC Scholarship Fund for our Black and African American students. And as we mentioned earlier, it'll feature 5 theme baskets curated from Black-owned, centered, and created items. So there are 5 baskets. There's that All That Jazz basket, Jackie Robinson basket, the wine basket, our Black Panther basket, and a Romology basket. So first, before we bring you guys out into your break rooms, we want to go ahead and invite the director of the foundation and donor initiatives to talk a little bit about the fund and how your contributions or your donations today will benefit and really help our future and current MSJC students. Rebecca?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I think so, yeah. I'm honored to be given the opportunity to speak today and support what our students and what my colleagues are doing today. This has just been so powerful. At the end of last year, 2020, we started the first Black African American Student Success Fund. And that fund really came from, first and foremost, wanting to support our students, and secondly, to really support the MSJC Equity Pledge and specifically the call to action. And these funds are here because exactly what the slide says, because Black minds do matter at MSJC. 100% of the funds that go into this go to support our Black and African American students with either scholarships or emergency needs that they may need as they're going through school. And there are a number of different ways that you can give to this fund. First, you can give monthly through payroll deductions. And I can tell you, every little bit adds up. You know, giving a dollar a year adds up to $12 at the end of the year. $5 adds up to $60. And it's really the power of this community and the way that we come together that we're able to support our students. So specifically today, really in honor of what's going on with the Renaissance Café and really in celebration of Black History Month, there's the wonderful auction that you can bid on items and give to, but we understand that not everyone may bid or not everyone may win. So that donation that you might have been willing to give, you know, in that way to the bid can actually be given to a giving campaign that we've opened specifically for today. Again, we know the power of this group and the power of this community. And we know that with your hearts, what you give today could make a difference in one of our students' lives. So Eric is going to put in the chat first the link to do payroll deductions if you'd like to do them. And then secondly, he's also going to give you the link to the campaign that's been set up specific to today to give. And we actually already have $100 that's been donated by 2 different people to that campaign. So we're really kind of excited about what can happen when we all come together today. Thank you, Jackie. And Jackie has a video to show you all sort of about what we're doing today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. And so just to kind of sum it all up, before we allow you to go into the breakout room, and I know that we'll have a brief intermission to give you guys the time to go in and out, take a little potty break if you need it. I do just want to say thank you in advance for all of your contributions and your support. I know that we've talked so much today about the history and the past and the present, but really this is our opportunity to affect change for our future, right? For the future of MSJC, for the future of our communities and the things that we really want to see happen in this world. And so I just want to encourage you, if you can, if you will, take a look, place your highest bid. And if you just want to donate separately, please take a look at the link. And if you have any questions regarding the fund, please feel free to reach directly out to Rebecca. I'm sure she'll put her email and such in the chat. And so I will turn it back over to Aysia.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rebecca, and everyone at MSJC Foundation Office for your support. And like she said, every little bit adds up, okay? I remember those times in undergrad where I got a scholarship for $300 and it was a game changer in the middle of the semester. So just think about whatever you can do to support our students. 5, 10 baskets start at 50, it's already 9 bids in on the auction, the highest one being $100. I know we can do better than that. I know we can continue to contribute. Please, if you can't hit that starting bid at 50 on the basket, then please consider donating to our Student Success Fund. We need to do all that we can to support and uplift our students and let them know that MSJC is a home for them and that we will support them however we can. Like Jackie said, we're going to take a little break. We've been through a lot together so far. So let's take a brief intermission so we can relax. Right now on your screen, you're getting a pop-up that's inviting you to join the auction room and the breakout. If you want to go bid live and really take on a competition, please enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back. I know that was a short intermission. I know it's getting spicy over in the auction room. So, if you want to keep bidding, please do. We have the links in the chat to bid. You can go over to the breakout room at any time if you want to place a bid. If you would like to contribute to the Student Success Fund, please do that as well. Right before we get restarted, I just want to spotlight something that one of our lovely professors, Shezwae Powell, said. She said, "I'm just going to brag a little. Kim, Joanne, and Rowena have all been a part of our theater arts productions, and I am so proud of them." And that's what I'm talking about, homegrown talent right here at MSJC, all folks who have been part of our theater arts productions. And we are so proud of the work that we did here today. And I really do encourage you to support those productions as you see them come up in the future. Thank you, Shezwae, for all of your mentorship that you pour into our students and all of the work that you do for us at MSJC. So without further ado, we're going to roll into our next performance, which is a recorded saxophone performance by a friend to the college, Mr. Richard Randolph. All right, that was amazing. I just want to shout that gentleman out because he came here and well, he didn't come here, but he sent us his video and was able to support us in our time of need when we were looking for performers. Latonya called him up and he was ready to send us something we could work with to contribute to this event. So I just want to thank you so much. If you're watching this, we appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your amazing talent with us. It was a gift to be able to hear that. And without any further delay, we're going to move on to our next fact. Let's see, I'm trying to scroll through here and see if my reader's in the building. Steve, are you with us? Let's see, we have so much amazing participation going on in our auction right now. I want to thank everybody who has placed a bid. You are fantastic. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and read this. I know that there's some technical difficulties going on, as there are, but Mamie Smith is considered to be the first African-American female artist to make a blues record with vocals. Crazy Blues released in 1920 and sold 1 million copies in half a year. So selling 1 million copies in 1920 is no small feat. So I just want to tip my hat to Mamie Smith, who paved the way for recording artists today. We're benefiting from the fruits of her talent that she shared with us. The next person that we have coming on to perform is someone who you all know and love, someone who does amazing work on campus, who is dedicated to our students through the Student Life and Development Office. I want to give a shout out to Maya Cardenas, who is going to share with us now. Thank you for doing this, Maya. Let me tell you something about me, y'all. Once we become friends, I will put you on the spot. I will ask you to perform last minute, okay, to make these things work. And so Maya, I just thank you for being receptive to that manic energy and supporting us. Thank you, thank you.
No doubt, absolutely. I'm thrilled to be here. Hey y'all, I apologize, I'm a little sluggish this morning. I got my little vaccine side effects action going on. So shout out to vaccines, and I hope I encourage folks to take that chance and go ahead and get that if you can. So I'm gonna do a little short excerpt from one of our amazing poets. She was a Black feminist, is a Black feminist, but passed away sadly. The poet Audre Lorde. I'm gonna do a reading from something that she read. It's actually featured in the book Sister Outsider. Audre Lorde is actually born in the 1930s in Harlem. So she definitely has a tie to the Renaissance period, and hopefully y'all will resonate with what she wrote. So I will begin. The title of this piece is The Transformation of Silence into Language and Action. I have come to believe over and over again that what is most important to me must be spoken, made verbal and shared, even at the risk of having it bruised or misunderstood. That the speaking profits me beyond any other effect. I am standing here as a Black lesbian poet, and the meaning of all that waits upon the fact that I am still alive and might not have been. Less than 2 months ago, I was told by 2 doctors, one female and one male, that I would have to have breast surgery and that there was a 60 to 80% chance that the tumor was malignant. Between the telling and the actual surgery, there was a 3-week period of the agony of an involuntary reorganization of my entire life. The surgery was completed and the growth was benign. But within those 3 weeks, I was forced to look upon myself and my living with a harsh and urgent clarity that has left me until still shaken, but much stronger. This is a situation faced by many women, some of you here today. Some of what I experienced during that time has helped elucidate for me much of what I feel concerning the transformation of silence and language and action. In becoming forcibly and essentially aware of my mortality and of what I wished and wanted for my life, however short it might be, Priorities and omissions became strongly etched in a merciless light. And what I most regretted were my silences. Of what had I ever been afraid? To question or to speak, as I believed, could have meant pain or death. But we all hurt in so many different ways, all the time. And pain will either change or end. Death, on the other hand, is the final silence. And that might be coming quickly, now, without regard for whether I had ever spoken what needed to be said or had only betrayed myself into small silences while I planned someday to speak or waited for someone else's words. And I began to recognize a source of power within myself that comes from the knowledge that while it is most desirable not to be afraid, learning to put fear into a perspective gave me great strength. I was going to die, if not sooner than later, whether or not I had ever spoken myself. My silences had not protected me. Your silence will not protect you. But for every real word spoken, for every attempt I had ever made to speak those truths for which I am still seeking, I had made contact with other women while we examined the words to fit in a world in which we all believed, bridging our differences. And it was the concern and caring of all of those women which gave me strength, enabled me to scrutinize the essentials of my living. The women who sustained me through that period were Black and white, old and young, lesbian, bisexual, and heterosexual. And we all shared a war against the tyrannies of silence. They all gave me strength and concern without which I could not have survived intact. Within those weeks of acute fear came the knowledge within the war we are all waging with the forces of death, subtle and otherwise, conscious or not. I am not only a casualty, I am also a warrior. What are the words you do not yet have? What do you need to say? What are the tyrannies you swallow day by day and attempt to make your own until you will sicken and die of them, still in silence? Perhaps for some of you here today, I am the face of one of your fears because I am a woman, because I am Black, because I am a lesbian, because I am myself, a Black woman, warrior poet, doing my work. Come to ask you, are you doing yours? That is a piece written and given at a conference in 1977 in Chicago, Illinois. Audre Lorde later died, unfortunately, too early at 58 of cancer in 1992.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you. That was beautiful. There were some things that stood out to me about that, just a couple lines. I looked upon myself with harsh and urgent reasoning, the power of self-reflection and introspection and wondering, just shining a light on the things that you've done. What I most regretted were my silences. Learning to put fear into a perspective gave me great strength. My silence would not protect me. Your silence will not protect you. Audre Lorde, another one of our giants in Black history, in American history, and world history. And I ask you to just consider those words. As we're moving through our program, the auction is still going. I want to thank everyone who has bid so far. I want to give a special shout out to Stephanie Kaysen for leading the charge. We appreciate you and thank you for your contribution. It's going to help students so much. And I want to introduce our next reader, Mr. Steve Smith. I don't want to steal his thunder, but he's the better half of someone who we love on our campus, Dean Dolores Smith. And we thank you, Steve, for being the wind beneath her wings. He's going to share some Black history with us today.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Thank Dolores for volunteering me that I'm going to be a part of this today. And Maya, great poem. You are a hard act to follow. Thank you. Thank you. That was very inspiring. All right. Howard Sims, better known as Sandman, African-American tap dancer. Howard Sims, known as the Sandman because he often sprinkled sand on stage at the Apollo Theater to amplify his steps. Sims was an acclaimed dancer, footwork master, whose students included Muhammad Ali, Gregory Hines, and Ben Vereen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Once again, just another example of how the arts have enriched history through time. Now, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing someone who I am lucky to call a friend. But before I do that, I do want to say, I don't know if the live bids show on the form. We're treating this as a bit of a silent auction. So bids start at 50, you put in your bid for the basket, and then you'll be notified if you won. If you want to be sure that you're going to win the basket, bid a little higher, go into those pockets, do what you can do. It's for the students. We appreciate whatever you can contribute. If you cannot contribute at that amount, we understand. Please consider donating whatever you can to the student fund. If you are submitting your bids through the forms, they will be received. And the winners will be notified today by the foundation office, and we will be contacting you to collect those payments. So keep that in mind. But back to the matter at hand, I want to introduce the amazing Dr. Arnita Porter, another illustrious member of the MSJC family, who is going to share with us today. Again, I told y'all, when I call you a friend, I call you at the last minute, but you could call me too. So I'm here if you need me. No more introduction needed, but Dr. Porter, before you get started, if you could just say a little bit about your role on campus for our students that are watching, and then get right into it. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Happy, Friday and Black History Month and Black History all the time. I'm Arnita Porter, and I teach in the Legal Studies Department. So if you're interested in becoming a paralegal or you want to go to law school, come over and see us. And also, I'm coordinator for the CWE program, which is the Cooperative Work Experience Education program that sets up internships for students in career ed, either in your discipline, if you're working in your discipline, or if it's just a general internship. So it's not necessarily tied to your discipline. So that is who I am, and I'm honored to be here. And so I'd like to just share, I'm going to combine a couple of pieces from some of my favorite, from a couple of my favorite writers that I'm also happy to call friends. But I'll start with a little Nina Simone. She doesn't know her beauty. She thinks her brown body has no glory. If she could dance naked under palm trees and see her image in the river, she would know. She would know. But there are no palm trees in the street. No palm trees in the street. And dishwater gives back no images. I want my ham. My ham, and I want my hum. The hum and my drum. Man, I want my drum. I want my center bone, the knowing of earth, stars, and rivers you stole. You stole them from my middle eye to put on TV. What you are looking at, you don't see rivers and waters. I want my waters, man, to wash these feet in the red soil of my 40 acres and the smell of my mule. Damn the shadow the grateful become. I want me again, carved on my own pyramids, fat-lipped and wide-nosed, unscathed by chiselers bearing bleach. I want my private parts private, not dripping like black magnolias from life's trees. You offer wings to this earth stomper, offer feathers to a malnourished soul. The ham bone is not enough. My ham, salted. I want my ham smoked. The solid sinew measuring my work. You measure my worth, and I will not come up wanting except wanting what I want. I want my ham. Don't be fooled or foiled by the zip code. The ocean is ours. The mountain is ours. The river is ours. The forest is ours. The sky is ours. Anything less, no. No to anything less than horizons and freedom and justice and peace and humanity, day in and day out, day in and day out, flooding the calendar with holidays and democracy and festivals and meetings and resolution. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Don't be tempted or trapped by the zip code. Health is ours. Wealth is ours. Government is ours. Law is ours. Safety is ours. Anything less? No. No to anything less. To any murder disguised as deterrence. No to any whims disguised as policy. Any mercenaries disguised as leaders. Any theories disguised as gospel. Any gossip disguised as science. Day in and day out. Day in and day out. Flooding the calendar with baptisms and rebellion and ceremony and protection and institutions. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Don't be stamped or seduced by the zip code. The second is ours. The minute is ours. The hour is ours. The sun is ours. The galaxy is ours. Anything less? No. To anything less? No. Than food and shelter and work and family and life, day in and day out, day in and day out, flooding the calendar with vigilance and fiestas and militants and dedications and cooperation. I'm down with that. I am down with that. It's the words of Peter J. Harris, S. Pearl Sharp, and Nina Simone. Those are poets from Leimert Park, the world stage, and blessings to them and blessings to your spirit.
Thank you, Dr. Porter. That was fantastic. Shout out to Leimert Park. That is an area that has a rich history and culture and community right here in Southern California. Take a visit, get familiar. Beautiful, beautiful community. this auction is getting a little crazy, okay? I want to give a shout out to Jared Davis and Chartel Fears, who are tied right now for the paint and sip basket. I'll let y'all, work that out amongst yourselves, how we're going to handle it. Somebody's going to be painting and sipping and somebody won't. I'll let you decide who it will be. And I really want to give a shout out to and Jeanette Oberg for your generous donation for our Wakanda basket. Shout out to you. You are so powerful. You are a warrior for students. I know that about you and appreciate it. Thank you so much for that generous contribution. Now we're gonna keep this thing moving. Thank you again, Dr. Porter, for sharing those voices with us. If you could please put their names in the chat so folks can look for their work, the titles of those pieces. For everyone who has shared, thank you for your donation to the fund as well. We appreciate you and thank you for supporting students. Let's see. I'm trying to get some live numbers for y'all on how these bets are going. Those are coming up. But before we do that, I want to pass it over to one of the junior members of our community, Caleb Harvey. And he is going to give us a Black fact of his own. He is joined by his mom, Dr. Marylin Harvey, who is a dean at MSJC. I just want to give a quick update before they get started that the fund is now up to $400. If you all could donate whatever you can, our students need it and we appreciate you for it. I'm going to turn it over to Caleb. Thank you, sir.
This is my book about Black History Month, written by Caleb, illustrated by Caleb Harvey. Ida B. Wells was an activist. She was riding a train in Memphis, Tennessee, and a man told her to get out of her seat. But she refused to be quiet and filed a lawsuit against the railroad. Harry Belafonte was a singer. He dropped out of school at 17 and he joined the U.S. Navy. Then he got a job at a nightclub. He sang songs from Jamaica. Bessie Coleman was a pilot. She did some stunts on the plane. When she was a child, she walked 4 miles and back to school. Red Run. This is my best friend, Orion.
Prince Rogers Nelson was a musician. He sang rock and disco music. He wrote his first song when he was 7 years old. The end. The end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Caleb, and thank you. I'm sorry I didn't catch your best friend's name, but you guys were both fantastic, and we appreciate you being with us today. You're the future, and we're so proud of you. Thank you so, so, so much. I hope you guys are all singing. I hope you guys are both singing in the chat. Everyone is just cheering you on, and we're so happy that you participated. So thank you. All right, I'm going to move to the next person on our performance sheet that I am super happy to have here. Thank you to Francisca Ochoa Gonzalez for being with us today. She's going to be sharing Still I Rise by Maya Angelou, and I'm going to turn it over to her. Thank you, Francisca.
Thank you. Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You might write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You might treat me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Cause I white like I with oil wheels pumpkin in my living room? Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed heads and lower eyes, shoulder falling like a teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my highness offend you? Do you take it so hard? Because I laugh, because I get gold mines digging in my own backyard. You might shoot me with your words. You might cut me with your eyes. You might kill me with your hatefulness, but still like the air, I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I get diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the hurts of history shame, I rise. Up from a past that rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping in white, willing and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors give. I am the dream and the hope of the slaves. I rise.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Still I Rise is one of those pieces that will get you through anything you need to get through, okay? Whatever you are going through right now, you rise, you rise, you rise. When I was in undergrad at Arizona State, Maya Angelou came and did a guest lecture. And when I tell you, I spent my whole little Arizona minimum wage check to sit in the front and ate noodles for 2 weeks. It was worth it. I am blessed to have been in the presence of that giant. And I thank you, Francisca, for sharing her words with us. This has been an amazing program. This has been an amazing time. Everyone who has contributed today has uplifted us all, and I thank you. All of our performers today, with the exception of the employees who were involved, were or are students at MSJC. These are the folks that we are sending out into the world, and they are powerhouses, all of them. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And right now I'm going to turn it over to Dean Dolores Smith, who's going to give us an update on the auction. And I hope that you all keep bidding, because all of this money, you know, it goes straight to the benefit of our students, and that's who we're here for. So thank you so much for your contribution so far. Dolores, will you take it away?
Hello. I got music in there. Hello. We are excited that this bidding, I mean, it's been a lot of work and it's been amazing. The performances have been amazing. Again, you know, we're doing first here. We're doing first here. And so I just wanted to come in and I really just want to just take a moment to thank all of the participants, the readers in the performance. It's just been fantastic and just been amazing. It's really hard to try to navigate and watch and look at everyone performing, but again, this is our first. The auction, doing it online has been fantastic. I want to give a shout out on a couple of the auction items and where we stand with that. Thank you so much for your contributions. And again, for those of you who may have been outbidded, you can always go to the URL website, and we have that. We'll post that again, and it should be in the actual chat. But you can always go to the URLs, and you can go in and go from there and give us your donations. The money does again go towards the student African American Student Success Fund. I just want to take a moment to just say, acknowledge the team. The work that's been put in for just putting on this event. It's just been a commitment that is above and beyond. It just really truly shows even though the behind the scene work, you know, you don't see that, the dedication to all of the team has been tremendous. We have Latonya is here, Miss Latonya is who's here with us, that has been, you know, part of our team. We have Miss Venita, who is here as part of our team. We also have Maya Cardenas as part of our team. We have Eric, who is part of our team as well, behind the scenes. We also have, I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anyone. We have Miss Jacqua Morrison that has, you know, been a part of our team. We have been meeting and, you know, really trying to put this on, you know, for this event on in a way that is quick, not 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, but you really get something out of this celebration as we close on this Black History Month. Just to give you a couple of updates, right now, we got a $10 bid here for the All That Jazz. We have the highest bid is at $120. And that is Miss Carrie Tate Meyer. And so Miss Stephanie Kasad, you know, you can go back in and you know, if you want to up it a little bit, again, $5 increments, please, on the, you know, if you want to increase your bid.
You can battle it out until 3 o'clock. Folks,
Exactly.
so you still have time. You still have time.
Still have time till 3 o'clock. Daryl Wilkes is now is up actually at the highest bid of $100 we have here for oh, excuse me. It just, and see what's happening here, you guys, as people are bidding, I'm refreshing my page. And so I'm seeing right now that Jared Davis, okay, we got Jared battling neck and neck, and actually Daryl at 100 and nope, Daryl at 120, and that is for, let's see, it's Daryl Wilkes. Sorry, I'm refreshing my screen here. Actually, Jared is battling at Jared and for the that jazz, we actually got that already taken care of. So we're at the highest bid for the All That Jazz for a $120 there. Yeah, that is correct. And
wait,
so,
what about the paint and sip? That's what they were fighting over.
the paint and sip. Okay, so right now the paint and sip, yeah, you still have time. You still have time. So let's get that paint and sip in. We're tied at $100 for the aromatherapy basket, and we're tied there. And we have Lindsay Tone. Okay, so we're definitely tied there. It looks like Lindsay is the highest bidder at $100. And in the paint and sip one, oh wait a minute, we just got another one in. $100 there. We got for paint and sip. And that is for yeah, Mr. Davis, Mr. Jared Davis. So he got the paint and sip at and I know he was battling with Miss Chartel, so you can always up that if you would like, and we have until 3 o'clock.
What is that paint and sip? What is the paint and sip at right now?
The paint and sip is at $100, and that's
I'm higher than that. Your computer's slow. It's not updated.
You're higher than that. 100. Let's see, paint and sip. I have to refresh.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that $100. Yeah, pay. Yeah, I got.
And that's fine when your phone up. I mean, when your computer refresh, at least I'll win then because I know it's more than $100.
and I have the receipts. I definitely have the receipts. So, and then we also have on the $100 one, we have okay, that's the paint and sip, and then we also have the Jackie Robinson at $100, Mr. Jared Davis, and that right now, and that's where we're at. So, and I'll be refreshing it. So we got the Wakanda at We got the donation at actually at 500. It has been confirmed. So that is a huge highlight for our donation of 500 for our Wakanda.
Can
So
we shout that person out by name? I don't mean to put you on blast, but I just
it gives me pleasure to shout out Dr. Anjanette Olberg as donating our $500 for our Wakanda basket. I mean, truly dedicated. The work that she does, as all of us, truly dedicated. So we definitely appreciate your donations and contribution.
All right, Jared and Daryl, bar set. How bad y'all want to paint and sip? Let's see.
Yeah. So again, you have until 3 o'clock to go back in and see where we're at with our biddings. And I'm posting our updates on our bids as you go in, and so you can see where the current bids are at. But again, thank you so much. Thank the community of MSJC, and I want to thank our administration, our leaders who have supported us as we have been putting on these events. And I want to really shout out to our C Black, Ujima, A2 Men, Amoja, and Sankofa for the collaborative efforts that have happened during this pandemic that it's been above and beyond what we do as professional employees at MSJC. So I want to definitely give it a shout out there. So thank you very much. And I will turn it back over to you, Miss Aysia Brown. And I forgot, last but not least, the dedication, because the host usually does not give herself kudos, but I want to definitely give a sincere shout out to our hostess, Miss Aysia Brown. She is on the fly, and she can truly, just calm the waters and just flow off the top of her head to make our events just what they are. So thank you, Miss Aysia, for that, your contribution as well.
Thank you so much. And I just want to thank all of our students who were brave enough to get up on the mic and participate today. You are loved, you are valued. All of us here support and appreciate you. Thank you all for being here. Everybody on YouTube, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your day from wherever you were to join us today. Shout out to everybody that's here. We love you, we appreciate you. We're turning off the live stream until next time.